So I'm out here in the lab today, and I'm doing a bit of a different trial. The last time I actually had to heat something up and test it on a resin surface was actually hot chicken fat, and I think that's one of the most putrid smells I've ever worked with. So let's not do that one again. But today, what I'm doing is we have a client that's had some problems on site with trying to get a resin floor coating that can withstand hot shells from bullets from a firing range. So today we're simulating the worst case scenario of the shell being at 150 degrees Celsius and landing on the coating in different ways, and we're going to see if it marks the coatings. So an interesting one. Let's see how it behaves. Okay, so what we've done here is we've set up a couple of different areas where we can do some tests. These are a single pack urethane that has really good performance, abrasion resistance and the like. It is smooth. I do want to test it with different profiles to see if that makes a difference, and then I've also got some epoxies beside it. So I'll just grab these cartridges that have been sitting here on my heater. You can see it's cycling in and out of 150 degrees Celsius. So let's grab a few of these. I'll take the worst case, and the worst case scenario is it's sitting flat. I'll put it on its edge. And we'll try the same with epoxy. Actually, I'll stand that one up, So we'll leave it on there to cool, which is kind of how you'd expect shells to land and then totally cool off before they, they get removed. So I'll just leave it here for a few minutes, and then we'll have a look at the results. Okay, so here we have the casings have been sitting on the urethane and the epoxy. It's sat there for a few minutes, so they're not actually hot to touch anymore. And what I'll do, I'll just move them to see. So there's no markings underneath the urethane that I can see. Yeah. There might be something there, but I see a defect next to it too, so perhaps my placement of the shell wasn't particularly good. On the epoxy side, there's nothing there from the shell laying down that I can see, but underneath there I can actually see that it has done something to the surface. I don't know if these shells are the larger shells that they're going to use on this particular rifle range, but based on that, I'd probably say that this is likely to leave marks over the long term, whereas this urethane seems to have stood up well. Even what I thought may have been a mark, I don't think actually is, looking at that defect. So what I'm going to do is just repeat a few times, choose my places where I put it so that I know that there's no defect, and just reassure that it is going to behave itself. So an interesting little trial there. Who would have thought you had to do heat tests on casings to see whether it marks the floor coatings, but based on what's already taken place on this firing range, it is a problem, and this is what our industry should do. We should be double checking these things before we say yes, that's what you need to do. So I'm ResinJack. As always, take care and keep smiling.